Hi friends, this is Krish the Urban Naxal, and today I am going to talk to you about the way you are misleading yourself when you go to a builder's sales office. That's right, it's not that the builder's sales office guys mislead you, it is that you are basically misleading yourself. You are under a wrong impression, you have a wrong focus. You know what they say in Hindi, kahin pe nigahein, kahin pe nishana. What you are doing is sort of like kahin pe nigahein, kahin pe nishana. You are looking one place, you are shooting another side. This is what you are doing. And I'll explain to you how that is. When you go to a builder sales office, you believe that you are going to make a real estate decision. So what you do is you start thinking about how I am going to stay, where I am going to stay, which is the area, what is the nearness of Western Express Highway and Link Road and LBS Marg and JVLR and all those things and airport and railway station and metro and all these things. This is what you are thinking about. This is where you are looking. This is where the real estate guys want you to look. They will tell you to look at the nearness to JVLR. They will tell you that they are building on a 17-acre land parcel. They will tell you to think about the fact that there are 4 clubhouses and 5 swimming pools. They will tell you it is a 28-story tower. Now all these things are pictures. You are thinking pictures. Clubhouse. You are thinking, oh, my kids are going to jump into that swimming pool. You are thinking, oh, that bench that's going to be outside, there's a long walking track, jogging track. My parents will be taking walks. My old parents will be sitting on the benches. You will be thinking, my wife is going to be enjoying this ambience, and this is what you are thinking. Meanwhile, the decision you are making is not a real estate decision at all. It is not a decision about, whether it is close to the station or whether you are 2 hours commute from your work or whether you are half an hour commute for commuting distance from your office. You are actually not making a decision about that, because if you are buying under construction, if you are booking an under construction flat, what you are actually doing is making a financial decision, and a financial decision involving how much money is going to be going out of your pocket every month after your salary comes in. How much money will go towards EMI? How much money will go towards rent? How much money you are going to be earning? How much more money you think you will be earning? What is your growth? How much money you think you will earn over the next 5 years before the flat is given to you, before the builder gives you possession of the flat, whether it is in 5 years, whether it is in 2 years, whether it's in 1 year. You are actually required to make projections. How much money do I need for my daily expenses, for my children's school fees, for emergencies? How much money do I need in case the builder fails to give me the possession in 2 years? Suppose it goes on to 3 years or 4 years. Then I am going to be paying rent for 4 years. And in 4 years, if anything happens, if I have to leave my job and I don't get another job for 6 months, can I afford to pay the EMIs? Do I have enough backup? Do I have fixed deposits? Do I have mutual funds which I can liquidate and pay the EMI and also bear all the daily expenses of myself, my wife, my children, my aged parents, whatever? Do I have all of that? Is there enough safety buffer? That is a question you should be asking yourself. So, it is not a decision about, whether you are going to live in a lovely 2 BHK or whether it's going to be a more spacious 3 BHK, and that's not the heart of the decision. The heart of the decision is, can I afford it? How to afford it? Am I making realistic projections? I am projecting that my business is giving me 5 lakh rupees per month. Is that a realistic projection when I am pitching for a high-end flat? I am projecting that my monthly expenses are only so much, only say 50,000 or only 70,000. Is it accurate? Am I counting everybody's expenses? Am I counting my expenses, my wife's expenses, my kids' expenses, the emergency expenses which happen when your mom or dad gets hospitalized? Am I counting all those things? And when I'm thinking of EMIs, when I'm thinking of rent, when I'm thinking of long-term commitments, paying the builder's installments, am I thinking of all those things? That is what you should be thinking about. But you know what happens? The builder drags you into the site office, the sales office. Okay, he attracts you. Basically, they attract you into the sales office. They make you look at the show flat. Your brain is not thinking numbers. Your brain is just looking right and left. Oh, what nice lights, what nice furniture, what beautiful cupboards, what beautiful basin and fixtures. This is what you are thinking. Your brain is switching off. The part of your brain which does all the calculations is switching off. Then, if you have gone along with your wife, and your wife is saying, we should go for 3 BHK, and you are saying, no, we can only afford a 2 BHK, and she is putting pressure on you for 3 BHK, part of your brain is saying, I want to please my wife. So there is a political part of your brain where you please your wife, please your parents, keep everyone happy by purchasing a house. You are thinking about your father-in-law who says, Beta, you are still living on rent. You married my daughter 7 years ago and you are still living on rent. So you are feeling anxious. You want to please your father-in-law and get his approval. You want him to say, now you have amounted to something. You made a good decision. You bought, and then if you are able to say a branded name, Runwal, Godrej, Oberoi, big names, Shapurji, Palonji. So your father-in-law will say, good, Shapurji, Palonji, very good brand, established brand. So you're going to get his approval. All these things are playing in your mind. So the political side of your family thing, your family politics is playing in your mind. You are making a financial decision. But what is playing in your mind is not finance, you're not counting, you're not thinking critically. Another thing you're not thinking about, when you are booking a flat, long term, let us say 2 years later, 3 years later, the possession is supposed to be given to you, as per RERA. You are not thinking what exactly is the real value. A real value of that flat. The builder is saying consideration value is 1 CR. Let us say the builder says all inclusive it is 1 CR. Suppose, including stamp duty, it is 1 crore. Everything. Now you need to think, on that 1 crore, I am going to take for that 1 crore a loan of 80 lakhs or 90 lakhs. How much is the EMI I am paying? How much is the interest on the EMI I am paying? Am I adding the interest cost to the cost of the flat? For 2 years or 3 years, I am not going to have the flat to enjoy, but I am going to be paying the interest. I should add that to the cost of the flat. Otherwise, I could buy a flat today and start enjoying it today and then pay interest for that flat. But no, I am buying a flat which will be given possession, for which I will be given possession 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later. I have to count the interest. What is the interest cost? I am not enjoying the flat. I will be paying the interest. Prior to that, I'm going to be paying rent. Again, if I had taken a flat right away, something that I'm getting right now, I won't be paying rent. I can stop paying rent. But here, I'm going to continue paying rent. I need to factor it in. What is the cost of that? Another thing, for an asset which I am getting 4 years later, an asset worth 1 crore rupees, I am paying money starting today. You know, money has a time value. 10 lakh rupees today is worth more than 10 lakh rupees tomorrow, and worth even more than 10 lakh rupees day after tomorrow. So, if someone wants to borrow 10 lakh rupees from you, only a fool will say, you give me 10 lakh rupees back after 1 year and we are okay. He will say, boss, you have to compensate me for going without the 10 lakhs today and for the next 1 year. So you need to give me at least bank rate of interest plus little bit to cover the inflation, and that is only just covering it. It's not really rewarding me for parting with my money. So I'm just giving you a rough calculation. 1 lakh today, this year, is equal to 1,10,000 next year. Think about it. 10% is equal to 1,21,000 the year after. Okay. So 10% plus another 10% of that. So 1,21,000 the next year, and so on and so forth. So money has time value. Now you are starting to pay the builder today. You are losing money and its time value today. You are going to start making sacrifices today. And there is one more angle which you are not thinking, which every financial decision, when you're making a financial decision, there is always this small statutory warning sort of thing that they say very fast. Market risks, blah, 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 blah. Financial instruments are subject to market risks. They say these things really fast so that you don't think about it. You got to think about that. When you are buying a flat, it is not without market risk. In fact, it is a very high market risk, extremely high market risk. And let me explain why. These are invisible factors, and you are kind of covering it up and you are convincing yourself that there is no risk. You want to believe there is no risk. For example, you booked a flat with Lodha. You say, oh, Lodha, such a strong company, no financial risk. Wrong. There is grave financial risk. You are putting a lot of your eggs in one basket. What are the financial risks? Let me give you an example. Have you considered the possibility that Lodha is a completely family controlled company? That too, very, very centric on individuals. What happens to Lodha if tomorrow Mangal Prabhat Lodha, who is aging, kicks the bucket? Have you considered whether his BJP connections are what is keeping Lodha or Macrotech builder going in a good, healthy way? Do you know what role his political clout is playing? And suppose he kicks the bucket. Suppose he becomes incapacitated or suddenly disappears. He takes a plane and the plane never lands. Ask yourself what is going to happen to your investment. That money that you have put, it's an investment. Okay, you may not think of it. You are a flat buyer. You want a flat. You are saying, I'm buying an under construction flat for self-use. What you are really doing is an investment. Okay, whether you like it or not. Investment always comes with risks. Always. So, if Mangal Prabhat Lodha isn't there next year, 2024, what happens to your money? What happens to the money that has been disbursed? Suppose you didn't pay the money outright, but you have taken a bank loan and bank has disbursed 80 lakh rupees to Lodha. And then the project stalls. Why? Mangal Prabhat Lodha is no longer there, what happens to you? Think about it. What happens to your family? You will have to continue paying EMIs. The money has already been disbursed. Will the project get completed? Suspense. Now, you will say, oh, but there is Abhishek Lodha, and Abhishek Lodha is actually the guy who's hands-on in the building industry. Correct. So you may assume that Mangal Prabhat may or may not be there, but Abhishek will always be there, and he is the young generation, and he's in good shape and all that. He is in good shape. People in good shape, sometimes COVID comes along and boom, good person in good shape is gone. Someone who is young, 30, 40, 50 years old, someone like me. One day he is here, next day he is gone. Sorry. This happens. If that were to happen, what happens to your money? Another factor. You are assuming that Mangal Prabhat and Abhishek Lodha are going to get along together nicely. There is always good relationship between them. They have sorted it out. There is no problem between them. This is what you are assuming. Are you sure? There are other Lodha stakeholders. There are others. There are uncles. There are cousins. They are stakeholders. You don't know what clout they have. What happens if a family feud develops? Let me give you an example. Abhishek Lodha and Abhinandan Lodha are brothers. Abhinandan Lodha seems to have gone his own way. I'm just reading what the market is signaling. Abhinandan Lodha Group. Abhishek Lodha is going with Lodha Group. Abhinandan Lodha is declaring a different group. Okay, Abhinandan Lodha Group. Is there a dispute? What is at stake? Is there a settlement to be given? Where are they giving the settlement from? If there is a complete parting of ways, what happens to your investment? Is your investment safe? Are they going to handle it? These are questions you need to think about. These are risk factors. More risk factors. Ukraine has been bombed by Russia. All the cities of Ukraine have been smashed. All the concrete structures in Ukraine, all the major cities, smashed, ground down to tooth powder. They will have to be rebuilt. They are all RCC structures, concrete and steel and manpower. There's going to be a huge suction of concrete and steel and manpower from the entire international market going towards Ukraine. That's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. As soon as the war ends and they start rebuilding Ukraine. And it's not just Ukraine. There is Syria and Libya and a lot of Middle East. There is Afghanistan. There's a lot of rebuilding to be done. There have been a lot of wars in the past decade. If they sit down to rebuild, if an era of peace comes to all these places, what happens to the prices? What happens to the price of concrete, of cement, of steel, of other raw materials, of tiles? What happens to the manpower, the demand for manpower? Suppose all the construction laborers from India find that there is better demand and good salaries to be paid in Ukraine. Will they not go to Ukraine? And if they go to Ukraine, what happens to construction in India? What happens to the construction industry in India? In fact, even builders like Lodha might just turn their attention towards Ukraine. They may say, we are going to focus on Ukraine. Let's put India on the back burner. They may take their construction crews and go to Ukraine. They may focus their management energies on Ukraine and Syria and Libya and so many other places in the Middle East, Iraq. What happens if this kind of a powerful movement happens through the entire international market? What happens to the money that you have paid, your 80 lakh rupees, which you cannot afford to lose? These are questions you need to ask, but Are you asking? I am very sure that when you are in a builder's sales office and they are asking you to swipe a token and they are showing you their beautiful brochures and they are giving you their beautiful promises and they are saying that, sir, although RERA date is 2024 December, we have promised to deliver to you in June 2023, 18 months ahead. And you feel like believing them. You like to believe them, you want to believe them. And you believe them. And you swipe a token. And then you give a booking amount. And you have given 5 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs. More than that. This is a financial decision. Don't think of it as a real estate decision. Stop looking at the real estate part of it. It's not about real estate. It is not about the beautiful 3 BHK that you're going to live in joy and pleasure with your family, because that joy and pleasure may come after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. That may come. That may come. But the financial hardships that you're going to face, even if nothing unpredictable happens, the financial hardship that you're going to face are going to start the moment you swipe that token. You will swipe that token and your hardships have begun. Next month, they are going to ask for booking amount. After that, you will have to do a registered agreement. After that, you are going to start paying EMIs or you are going to start paying the builder's installments. Your financial hardships, and you think you have predicted your income correctly. You think you have predicted all that's going to happen in the future correctly. Most of the time, most of the guys are very bad predictors of what is going to happen in the future. Their income, they are very optimistic, very bullish. Be careful. Usually, when you go to a builder's sales office, you are most likely to make the wrong financial decision. You are most likely to make an unwise financial decision because of time pressure of the builder's sales office, because of the urgency pressure they are putting on you, because they want you to swipe on the very same day without thinking about it, because they are dangling all kind of attractive offers in front of you, because they are telling you that the inventory is running out and these are the last 3 flats and you have to buy now or the good flats will all be gone. You are most likely, because of all these pressures, to make a bad financial decision. Think about it. I am Krish, the Urban Naxal, your friend. Jai Maharashtra, Jai Hind, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.